The deputy party leader of Wiper Democratic Movement Party, Farah Maalim, is here with us. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Morning to you, how are you?
Very well.
You people, you've discussed everything.
No, we haven't.
There's nothing for me to contribute.
Oh no.
There's a lot. You know, you're here to give us insights. We had one of the strategists for the Azimio presidential campaign, Professor Makao Mutua, here yesterday.
Yes.
And, we put it out to him.
Yes.
One of the things that Dr. Alfred Mutua and Governor Amason Kingi have complained about and have even written to the ORPP, have even gone to the political parties dispute tribunal about, we signed the last page of a document.
We don't know what the document
We
entails.
don't know what the document entails.
Absolutely.
Wiper.
Absolutely.
You are a lawyer, Mheshimiwa. You're the deputy party leader. Do you know what that document entails?
I don't know. Frankly, yes.
Who signed
We
it?
actually have to go now. We've already sent people to go out there to the political party's office and to demand for that.
After signing the document.
After signing the document.
Why? Why would
Because,
anyone,
now,
Farah, sign a document? All of you being legal minds.
Yes.
Why would anybody sign a document on just the last page? It's not one of those things that you go to an insurance company and say, you just sign here, I'll fill in the rest of the information for you.
Yes.
This is a legally binding document about an election that's going to take place.
Look.
Why?
You see, the whys are many. There's too many why. And you're right to pose that. And it took a long time. Meetings in the State House, meetings everywhere, even culminated in a meeting with the president himself for dinner in Kalonzo's house. And there's a lot of undertakings. A lot of discussions that said we are looking at this. Like I said, I think sometimes back on this particular show, I come from a community in which when you want to transact business worth $100 million, you do it on a handshake.
You shake hands.
You shake hands, and that's the end of it. You continue. So for us, when eminent personalities, respectable personalities say that this is how we're going to end up with these things, we assume that that's how it's going to end up. So there was a lot of goodwill. And I'm not telling you right now that that goodwill is exhausted. We'll have to wait until the last minute and see if there was a goodwill or the whole thing was a con game.
Okay.
You get my point?
Yeah.
But we have reason to believe that all is not lost yet. That still my party leader will be the running mate. But let me tell you something that what is his TV name? City.
Those are my initials. CT Muga.
Oh, CT Muga.
Yes.
Okay. I thought that you got a name that's basically a TV
Stage name.
Yes. And I want to tell you, City in Swahili.
Kama maji asubuhi.
City, when you say City, S-I-T-I, it's actually a lady.
My initials. Yes.
Anyway, all is not lost. We want to believe that they'll still arrive at His Excellency, when you've served as a Vice President, you have that title called His Excellency. You're not allowed to call the President, the Deputy President, or the Vice President, or ambassadors who are represented. Ambassadors are agents of the... Nobody else has a right to be called His Excellency. I hear governors and all other people try to call themselves that. It's crap. But His Excellency, I think, will be the running mate for Raila.
Why?
He has been the running... Well, he qualifies more than anybody. I don't want to go through that now.
Actually, we have to, Mheshimiwa. You know why?
Hang on a minute. It was his running mate twice.
Yes.
And I want to believe that he is going to make the difference between who wins and who loses this election. If you want to go into the debates of it, you can do it for another day. I'm not willing to take a lot of time on that. You see, if you can't see the obvious, then there's clearly something wrong with you.
1 plus empty box is equals 2.
Hang on a minute.
Empty box can only be one.
Hang on a minute.
The arithmetical matrices
Hang on a
in
minute.
politics.
Hang on a minute.
Yes.
Hang on a minute. And I don't want to look at other candidates also and say that this candidate cannot bring much, this candidate cannot bring much, I don't want to go into that. We have to conduct civilized politics with a lot of respect and and dignity for everybody. You see, the first time that Raila took on Kalonzo Musyoka, let me go back beyond that a little bit. Go back to 2007. In the run-up to 2007, when LDP was pulling out of NAC, was pulling out of Kibaki's government, the story was that let's come together and let's go for Kalonzo. Because there was a serious presidential candidate before that. The whole idea of Kibaki Tosha came as a surprise to everybody. It's something that basically was just between Raila and I think Kibaki and Kibaki's handlers that time. It came in as a surprise. We took it as a betrayal. As a matter of fact, I walked out of that coalition on that afternoon in Uhuru Park myself, and decided to link up with Nyachai. So then, to be able to get them again out of Kibaki's government, it took a lot of persuasion. Among that persuasion, I don't know if you remember, as far back as those days, even Honorable Ojode went in one time as representing Raila in Ukambani and said, we want to have a new dispensation and we want to take Kalonzo Musyoka as our presidential candidate. Before then, we had put together a concept of a collegiate concept, which he was going to come out as a winner in 2007. What we said is that, look, you have 6, 7, or I don't know how many we had that time, presidential candidates, come together all. Let everybody come with his trusted 60, delegates. Let everybody come in there now, and to multiply by that, I think it was going to be 360. And then we work in a manner in which that everybody in that presidential list gets some marks. So the person you respect most, you give him 6 marks. If they are going to be 6, they're going to be either 5 or 6, I can't remember. And then then the next one, right to the one you list fill, you put it 1. And you cumulatively bring all that together. Ordinarily, what happens is that somebody loves somebody and says that this is my candidate. When you give him 6 marks or 5 marks, then the next person is, who would you be safe with? And under those circumstances, everybody knew that Kalonzo was going to emerge as the winner in that. As you know, the Mr. Pleasant guy who basically was going to.
He was a safe pair of hands.
Yeah, and then we said, okay, fine. Then later on, persuasion came in and said, look, we'll push him for that now. Let's walk out of Kibaki's government. Which, of course, happened the way it happened. The last minute.
You went and formed Chungwa.
We went and formed Chunga, we went and everything else. There was going to be a rally in Khadija, what do you call grounds in Mombasa, and then everything changed and people came with a hammer. You get my point? Where he was humiliated. Like hell, he was humiliated. Then he opted to go on his own. Instead of, he did not join with Kibaki, but he opted to go on his own. And
he formed a Chungwa
ODMK. ODM, what was it called that time? ODM?
It was ODM, the
Kenya.
Orange Democratic Movement, and then Kalonzo
so the thing, the Chunga was put in, and half.
It became 1.5.
That created also a bit of an issue for the country because he got his bulk of the Okambani votes. Then, of course, there was the issue of how to convince them again. After being a vice president for 5 years, and I was in ODM that time, we went out of our way, we knelt down, we went on our knees and did everything and told him, we're going to serve only for 1 term. After that, it's you. So allow us. Let Raila be a presidential candidate. Raila is already, let's have him for 1 term.
Were you in that room?
I was not in that room, but I was a part of that, broader communications on that. Those days as ODM, we worked very closely, and I was very close to everybody there.
So the promise.
Remember, I was the deputy speaker of the National Assembly.
Yes, you are.
So then we did everything we could, went out of our way, and told him, do this. He came in, he accepted in principle. Musila was there. I was there. Actually, did a lot of negotiations with Musila myself, talks with Musila. Mudama was also there. The thing went the way it went. He became the deputy president,
became the running mate.
We won the election. We were robbed of victory in 2013. This time again, it was yes. I gave the undertaking yes. I said next time you're going to run 2017 as a presidential candidate for the coalition, but I did not win. I did not assume office. We won, but I didn't assume office. So please, accept this. And now I was part of that team, that caucus.
That was still telling Kalonzo. The word was, if we win the presidency, Raila shall be a one-term president.
One-term president, and now that
Not a one-term candidate.
Yes,
Okay.
we won, but now that we did not win, and this is it, please.
Let's try again.
Yes, I was now part of that team
Okay.
that went out there. Mudama was there, and the late Nyenze was there, and a number of other people.
At this point now, you are.
I was in Wiper
now.
yes. I left ODM
left
in
ODM.
2016. You get my point?
Yeah.
I left ODM in 2016 because I things that we'll probably talk about at some other times, not now. And then, of course, this time it was written with witnesses, with lawyers, eminent lawyers, that win or lose, he was going to be supported.
Okay.
He's going to be supported in 2022.
And part of the clauses of this written document was that it shall not be made public.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which, by the way, as a gentleman, has not made it public even now.
He only talked about it
I know
publicly.
the content myself. You get my point? But then still said, look, you don't address the king in public. You know what I mean? And because we have the possibility of still working together, and that we will not exhaust all the goodwill we have, let's still find a way in which we can try and talk sense to our brothers.
So the agreement
Hang on a minute.
in
Let me just finish.
2017
yes,
was
that win or lose.
win or lose
The next candidate for the president, which Raila was going to support, was going to
would
be
be
Kalonzo.
Kalonzo.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what happens again? Then we have a sitting president who comes out back and then puts his weight behind Raila. This time, and then people say, okay, there's a new dynamic, there's all these problems here. Story mink.
Now this time now
Ngoja.
kweli kabisa now.
Can I just finish?
Ukweli ya Mungu, this time.
Can I just finish? Hii safari, this is the last time. There'll be no more stories. And you'll be there.
But the other times there were also no more stories.
Just a moment. Let me just finish.
Yes.
No more stories. You know, ordinarily in a civilized society, the dignity and the word of somebody is through the tongue. Through the tongue. Everywhere, humanity itself. You go back to your culture as a Luo, as a Kikuyu, as an Igbo or a Yoruba. I don't know which way my sister is, but I'm sure she's one of those. She must be an Igbo. That dignity was there. And then you finally again say, okay, one last time. One very, very last time.
For the last time.
Yes. But if I was good as your deputy twice, for God's sake, I cannot be bad as your deputy a third time. With a caveat that after that one time again, that he's still going to run for the president, because that is where everybody wants to go.
Yeah.
You know, you shelved your ambition for all that time.
So Farah, can I ask you?
Can I finish before you ask me?
No, let me ask you this question because you may not finish at this point, Farah.
I'm going to finish in just 2 sentences.
Two
sentences.
We're saying that the hardball stance that we see is not necessarily because he's putting weight on his adequacy as an individual, but because of the agreement that was made 10 years ago.
Yes, let me
That's
tell you.
why
No.
this?
You have a problem in this Odu. This is Odu.
Ndu.
Ndu.
Odu is a new name, but the one we usually use is Ndu.
Ndu.
Yes.
Ndu. No. That is despite. In spite of all the big, what do you call, experience and title and the humanity in the person himself. You see, this country cannot have two things. You can't have your cake and eat it. We cannot insist on dignity, integrity chapter, and all those things, and then applaud somebody because he has amekuwa mkora akamweka rafiki yake kwa shimo. No. That you have been cheated. Who is now to be at fault? The one who cheated or the one who cheats? You can't. It's when you say these guys are perennial cheaters. And they will always come with one story or the other. That is sufficient reason for people to decide, no. We cannot have somebody of that nature at the helm of this country. And I'm not imputing any what do you call
improper
motives on anybody. I have every reason to believe that Raila was very genuine about supporting
saying
his brother,
Kalonzo
for
will
all-
be my
yes,
running
yes,
mate,
yes.
and I will run for one term, and then I will
Even now,
support
even
Kalonzo.
now, even now, I think there is he himself, for all intents and purposes, is willing to take Kalonzo as a first choice.
So who's the stumbling block? Is it the
Well, you
addition
see,
now?
there-
The
there-
president
there-
now the
there are a number
president
of
has
things.
joined the mix. Is it that the president is not aware of the history? So the president is coming and saying,
You see,
"Hey, his story maybe is
you
doing
see,
well."
you see. I don't know how much capital the president comes in with into these things.
He brings the
Let me
table.
be
We
very-
said.
let me be very honest with you. Let me be very honest with you. Kibaki was a president, and he brought zero capital into the election that was there after him. And Moi tried to do the same also in 2002, and he, if anything, people left. because
People
of-
rebelled.
People rebelled, and I don't completely put it out of the ordinary that people are going to do that. Uhuru comes in with a serious liability,
Because of his incumbency.
because of the incumbency, and that's normal for everybody.
Okay.
Let me tell you that it happens in Nigeria. It happened in everywhere. When you try and push somebody and you're the former president, you have a problem. You have a
me ask
serious
you,
problem. But then, having said that, I still appreciate very much the goodwill of Uhuru to say that ndugu yangu hapa ameibiwa mara nyingi sana. He has seen a lot.
Na najua wezi.
Najua ni no whatever hiyo ingine wacha tu. Kuna mtu ambaye sio mwizi. Lakini I will want to stop that. What started with Jaramogi, which still continues. And twice what you call Raila has been robbed of victory. Twice. I want to believe that myself. It's a lot of wisdom for Uhuru to come out and say, enough is enough. Let's put a stop to this thing. Let's unite this country once and for all. Finally. But
Kalonzo did not come straight to supporting Raila.
No.
Kalonzo, with other parties such as KANU, Gideon Moi, such as Cyrus Jirongo, Martha Karua, and others, formed the One Kenya Alliance.
yes,
While Raila and Uhuru and the others in the Jubilee and the other parties were forming the Azimio. So at that point, that's when Kalonzo was saying, you know what, I have been here before. In fact, that's when he even came into that press conference and said, in 2017, we signed a document, and that document has leaked. It's in the media. It's in the public domain. This is the content of the document. We agreed this, and the other. Kalonzo himself said it. Now, by the time Kalonzo was coming to join up with Raila, there was the intervention of the president. Even he has said it, that the president has talked to me. I have had a conversation with Raila in the presence of the president, and I am doing this out of goodwill because of the conversations that we've had. Now, these conversations, Farah, what is it that he demanded? What was it that he was promised for this particular time?
the point
when they were
is-
talking between Uhuru, Raila, Kalonzo. For Kalonzo to come in and Azimio now gets rebranded into Azimio One Kenya. What was the promise for Kalonzo?
let me now tell you something. Politics is art of possible. As far as I'm concerned, I think Kalonzo has been the Mr. Nice Man of the Kenyan politics, the decent guy, the man with integrity, the man who basically is willing to preserve the unity, as a dialogue of the country itself. If people want to take advantage of that, this is probably the last time anybody will try and take advantage of that. You get my point?
No.
I'm telling you, he doesn't become the deputy president of the Azimio. It's lost. Prepare yourselves for a Ruto, what do you call, presidency.
So
More than anything else. And I don't want you to start running into me like, pack off what do you call
Actually,
it?
no,
Try
we-
and tear me apart, wolves. But what I'm trying to tell you is very simple. Hang on a minute. I know what the backyard me feels. The backyard, the stronghold, is pissed off.
Whose stronghold? Kalonzo's stronghold.
Yes. And don't ever be cheated. Nobody else controls that stronghold. You've seen it time and again. Time and again you've seen it. You've seen my sister, who's a very good friend of my charity, go in a different direction, and still Kalonzo went. People went with Kalonzo. Kivida Kibwana, whoever it is, Alfred Mutua, The backyard is fully
It's
in
Kalonzo's.
Kalonzo's. The same way, like there are very few people who have had that benefit in this country. Let me tell you. You know, it's unique. And I can only think
You know,
of
you're,
three.
not answering my question.
Only
You're-
three
you're
who have
going
got
round
that
this
wild
question.
following. What's your question?
My question is, when those three gentlemen met, and you even alluded
Look,
to the meeting,
look,
the
look,
dinner
look.
meeting, for example, at Kalonzo's house.
Look.
What was the
Whatever the
promise?
content of that was, even if the content was there, I would, and I was not there first of all to begin with. I can only tell you what probably I got from my party leader,
Yes.
and even then I cannot tell you that because you know when gentlemen get together and talk, it's not in the nature of people to go to the media and say that.
Is
this
the
was-
position you're taking
this was the content
informed
of-
by what he told you?
The position. You see, this one now is the ultimate indignation. If Kalonzo is told that you cannot be
The running mate.
the running mate and you can basically you settle for something else, that will be the ultimate indignation.
Because they're going back on an agreement that was made.
A lot of agreement, not just one.
Okay.
Not just one. How many did I now start talking about? I kept on chronicling all that. It's a culture, a history of those agreements that were
Broken.
betrayed.
Okay.
But this time he's not going to be betrayed. I'll tell you that. Even if he decides to jump on board himself
Yeah.
and say that, okay, with all his imperfections, I'm still going to be just an ordinary person and I'll support it. The backyard is not going to accept that.
Let's take a break.
And
It's 28 minutes to 10. Farah Maalim is the deputy party leader of Wiper. We are talking about what Wiper is getting out of the Azimio One Kenya coalition party and the entire political formation. Is Kalonzo Musyoka going to be the running mate or not? If he's not Raila's running mate, then what happens and why? That's what we're discussing with Farah.
This is the Situation Room.
Eric Latif Nduoko CT Muga, our guest, is a deputy party leader of Wiper Democratic Movement Party. Farah Maalim, the Honorable Farah Maalim, former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Farah, you've told us of very many things and you've done well, giving us the chronology of Kalonzo Musyoka's journey out of LDP into ODM, into ODMK, into being the vice president and as the leader of ODMK, into running mate for Raila once, twice, and this time, where he's being subjected through a process, just like you said the other time. I mean, it was a collegiate process that you had expected to go through. This time, similar kind of thing, where it's just a panel. Don't you think it's the same thing that's happening? What should have happened in 2017?
Let me now tell you. I think many of you are going to shout very high, loud,
Yeah.
and say, "Oh no, how can you do that comparison?" Don't. First of all, the fundamental, the centerpiece of a national pride is also to respect your own leaders, to respect your own people. You see heroes among your people. You don't look for a hero in America or in UK or in Germany and the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ability for such a person to hold back his personal initiatives, his personal, what do you call, ambitions for the sake of the country. For 15, 20 years. To be honest to you, can only be equal. And again, to insist only on one term in which he's going to basically be at the helm and see what he can do for this country. Can only be equal to what Mandela did when he came out of prison. Supposing you're going to subject Mandela to a panel to determine who is going to be the best person for the presidency of that country after all that suffering is done. Now, don't jump up and say, don't compare Kalonzo to Mandela. No, Mandela is a South African and his people, first and foremost, are the ones who saw him as their own hero. If you don't see your own as a hero, then nobody else is going to appreciate the heroism of your own people. You get my point? And I would safely compare Raila, Kalonzo, Kibaki, and all of them to the kind of heroes that we worship in other parts of the world. But we just failed to do ours. And only do it in the case of Kibaki after his death. After his death is when we come and talk all the nice things about him. It's good to talk about the nice things about your own leaders also. So this man, to be subjected to a panel, and probably the person who is going to be, who's the chair of the panel?
He's a former reverend.
And
two eminent clergymen.
yes,
I'm going to give you their name shortly, plus other eminent people and people who have been selected by political party leaders. Your party sent Senator Kio Wambua into that panel. Yeah.
When Kalonzo was first made his debut into politics, I don't think Wambua was born even. To be honest to you. And I don't think Junet is also there, yeah?
Yes.
Junet is there. So, but again, all said and done. Again, he got a call from some of his friends, from Raila, from Uhuru Kenyatta, and again decided, let me go and present myself. You get my point?
Yes.
And he presented himself yesterday. It was the same way Kwamba, we were going to choose him, but because he did not appear, we had no choice.
We had no choice but to choose someone else.
So exhaust that bit. But the reality of the matter is
But he's going there with a condition. It can only be me. I'm appearing before you.
Yeah.
But it can only be me.
Yeah, but can I explain something? Can I explain something? Look, we either want to win this election as Azimio or One Kenya Alliance, or we want to lose it. Simple. If we want to lose it, let's get somebody else. If we want to win it, let's take him. We need him because we want to form the government. We have been in the call for quite a while now. You know what I mean? Tumeka kwenye baridi mingi.
If he went alone, can he win?
If he went alone and ran for the presidency,
Yes.
Very long shot. It's difficult, very, very difficult. But
So he also needs...
but he is basically the difference between who wins and who loses.
But you belong to the Wiper Party.
And I want
I
to
don't
tell you
expect
something.
you to say anything different. Really.
No. It's just basically, look, I belong to the Wiper Party, but I am somebody you people have known for a very long time.
Not only that,
Can I just finish?
you have a credible
Yes.
narrative
Yes.
that anyone who listens to you and has followed you like I have knows.
Yes.
But you are implying that the other politicians with whom you relate can be judged by similar yardsticks. And I'm saying no, they cannot be. Because everything that you say resonates with a system where a certain level of honesty and honor and appreciation of such values exists. But the field that you're in, those are the values that people trample on a daily basis.
Yes. But as leaders in this country,
Yes.
as leaders in this country, we want to leave certain values for posterity in this country.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that because very few people subscribe to what me and you are talking about now, that you have to abandon that and join the other side. No.
No, you don't have to.
No. So the point I'm trying to tell you is that we still have a duty ourselves to stay on the right side. To stay on the right side. Look at the prophets. You call Jesus God. Well, I call him a prophet myself.
We call him Son of God.
We call him Son of God. I don't know in what context, but we're not going to go into that debate now. But we call him a prophet. But was he appreciated when he came in, brought the word of God?
Nope.
Or did his own people, the Jews,
Nope.
appreciate? And is this a faith today of how many billion people in the world? Billions. It has the biggest following.
Yes.
It has the biggest following in the Abrahamic faiths, between Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. It has the biggest following.
Yes.
So that basically tells you that although he was ridiculed, although he was crucified, although he did all that, but he stayed the course. And staying the course is what basically is seen in posterity was the right thing. Muhammad was stoned, peace and blessings of God be upon him. Had a very rough time initially when he brought the message. And today you have almost 2 billion Muslims in the world. So basically, even if we're not going to succeed the way you would want us to succeed in our own life and enjoy those fruits ourselves, we have a duty ourselves to maintain the good values that we would want to leave for posterity for this country. And hope history is going to take a note of that. And in the end, we will succeed. But if you say that politics is a dirty big game and everybody there is dirty and a crook and a con, and then you just have to be smart enough to be like them for you to survive in that, no, I choose not to be like them.
Actually,
I choose not to
I do agree with you.
Yes.
What I'm saying is simply this. When I look at the political landscape and we look at all the political players, I believe when they speak, they all believe the things they say and they believe them to be true.
Yes.
Okay? However, when placed against, should we say, a double-edged mirror that shows you a little more than what is actually being said, we find that there are other things that are also true but haven't been said. Now, if we're talking about political alliances and how it is people agree, Mheshimiwa, I'm sure you'll agree with me that there are things that these political leaders discuss among themselves that even you are not privy to.
I don't deny that.
Yes, that there are things that they will agree. The things that they present in the public domain for us to consume, yes, contribute to what was said and what was agreed upon. But the question here is, people say they want to move forward and they want you to unite Kenyans. Now, how then do you get to a point where you're talking unity and at the same time you're talking about hard and fast positions about what must happen before? This discussion about Azimio, the discussion about the handshake and the previous handshakes have all had to do with compromises. So what would you say is a landmark compromise that the Wiper Democratic Party has made
What I'm trying
to add to the compromises that have been made to even bring about this coalition?
Let me tell you, what I'm trying to tell you is, look, a time reaches when your own flock, your own followers in politics will tell you, you're making too much compromise, and we're not accept. This is where they draw the line in the sand. You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
And say, sorry, from now on, we're going to do this differently. So you either come with us or you stay alone out there. And you stand the possibility of becoming irrelevant. I first got into politics myself, not because of my choice. I did not love to go into politics. I loved politics myself, and I wanted to participate. I used to write, I used to talk, I used to make statements. But I was a businessman, a very young, very successful businessman here in Nairobi. But 19 elders from my own community went to my dad with these rosary beads, the Muslim rosary beads,
Yes.
and put it on his neck and said, look, either you allow your son to run for these things or we'll curse him.
Wow.
And my dad called and told me, look, I don't want it. But if it's a question of cursing my son, I might as well proceed and go ahead. And that's how I entered. I said, okay, if in that case, I'm going to go into the opposition. That was 1992. I ended up being where I was, What I'm trying to tell you, you have certain limitations when you're dealing with the people who support you. I've been 10 years out of parliament now. Both of them rigged out. I ran for the Senate of Garissa County. I was rigged out. I forgave my elder brother, Haji, and then we talked about it. I forgave him. And I prayed for him to go to heaven, because that was the nature of the politics at that time. I came in there later last time. I was rigged out again the last time against Duale. I forgive him also. You get my point? Today, I have a wild following where people come in and tell you, no. One, you cannot go and stand in Garissa because it's got too many issues there. We know you're going to win, but it might create other issues. You have to come here, and this is where you're going to run. And you've seen the wild, I'm sure you've been following some of the social media and the rest of it. But the point of the matter is that when the people also put they put the line on the on the sand and tell you this is what you're going to do. We've listened to you too much.
You're bound by that.
They wanted me to go for governor in 2013. I said, no, I'm going to go for Senate. And I told them, look, that is going to be the place that's going to preserve devolution. It never happened. You know what I mean? They saw, and so it's like, you come up with the ideas. We follow you on your ideas. We see the benefits of that. And now you will have to listen to us. That's exactly what's going to happen to Kalonzo Musyoka now.
So this
if he
time
decides to go back to the campus and tell them, look, I'm not going to be the running mate, but I want you to proceed and support Azimio, they'll tell him to go to hell. Yes, I'm telling you that. They will tell him enough is enough. So now, not only have you compromised so much that we think you are a coward, but you have even compromised in the name of the community. Everybody is going to think that the Kambas are people that you can easily push in this and play around with.
So far,
not
the
anymore.
stance that he has taken on behalf of his community, or the message that's coming from the community and not of his own personal conviction. Is that what you're saying?
Look, at the end of the day, all politics is local. Let me tell you one thing. At the end of the day, all politics is local. If Raila did not have the wild following of the Luo community, and by extension, the wider, what do you call, Nyanza, You think Uhuru would call him and have a handshake with him?
No.
No. And that's exactly what it is right now. He is a nationalist. He is somebody who, you know, I'll just give you one example. We have a Wiper party. I'm the deputy party leader in Wiper. You know who's the chairman of Wiper?
Mokwere.
Ali Mwakwere. Shirawa Ali Mwakwere. Do you know who's the secretary general of Wiper? Shakila Abdullah.
Shakil Abdallah, yes.
These are three people from the same faith. 3 people?
All Muslims.
All Muslims. That tells you how much of a nationalist this guy is. He nominated 2, MPs in 2007. One was Afe from Northeastern Province, and the other one was Shakila from Lamu. In both cases, looking at basically the plight of the people of Lamu, you know, the Bajunis, marginalized and extremely, extremely taken advantage of. Their land is taken and everything. What I'm trying to tell you is that to that extent, the man is a nationalist. I see the same streak of nationalism in Raila. I mean, he's done far too many things. He's the strong man in Raila's party right now. After Raila is Junet. So Junet was born in Mandera.
If you say,
but the point I'm trying to tell is that we are looking at the nation. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when you get to the office, you will then implement your nationalist things. But when you're seeking that office, you have to have a base. You get my point. You have
so
to have
his
a base.
base is Ukambani
That is a stronghold.
and the Kamba diaspora.
That's the strong. The same way the base and the stronghold of Raila Odinga is Luo Nyanza. The same way, of course, the add-ons. Everybody's going to come on board. You know what I mean?
Yesterday we had
The same way Uhuru is the stronghold of Uhuru has always been in.
We had Professor Makau
In the mountain region.
Mutua yesterday here.
Yes,
Mheshimiwa.
yes.
Professor Makau Mutua was here yesterday. You know, he's from Kitui.
I know.
He says even the polls that they are currently conducting,
Yes.
you know, as a think tank in Azimio,
Yes.
are showing
Yes.
that Raila is the leading candidate, the leading preferred candidate in Ukambani.
To the tune of 80%.
Despite the fact that, you know, Kalonzo is not the running mate yet, yes, he said and he acknowledged that there is a significant number of undecideds that are returning. But the leading is that Raila is a preferred candidate.
Let me tell you, I have a lot of respect for that learned friend. I have a lot of respect for Makau Mutua. To see that Raila is the leading candidate in Ukambani, with Kalonzo also being as a presidential candidate, Kalonzo being in the race himself, that is
Are we saying that the other
serious dishonesty. You see, Raila becomes a preferred candidate in the absence of Kalonzo.
Mheshimiwa, let me ask this question.
That is what is happening now. I mean,
But that's the
Kalonzo
point.
is
That's,
not.
that's the point I'm telling you. Kalonzo is there. He said Raila Tosha. You get my point? But if he goes out there and they don't get this one
So
right
if
now,
Kalonzo says Raila, not
the
Tosha,
presumption in Akamba land,
right now.
the presumption in Akamba land is that the running mate is Raila.
So we are saying
it's
that
Kalonzo.
Ngilu...
It's Kalonzo. It's on the basis of that Raila has the 80%,
Okay.
the
So
90%.
we're saying that
plus.
Ngilu and
Kivuda.
Kivuda Kibwana,
have no following
Alfred
and no
Mutua.
sway. Yes, we're saying they have no sway and
Theirs
no
is
following.
cosmetic, not
Mark-
substantial.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, these are all my good friends. By the way, let me tell you. They're all my good friends. But it's good to call a spade a spade. It's very, very good to call a spade a spade. And by the way, when you serve as a governor in this country, you have a problem. You have a serious problem. You know what I mean? Because that's a small mini state. And the resources and everything else. So if you ask the people of Mkambani right now, Makweni, Machakos and everything else and talk about, you will have a problem fronting out of the 3 candidates that you have said. But that's not to say that they still have a constituency back at home. How big it is, I think very minuscule if it becomes them against Kalonzo. That we can forget about Kalonzo and take these other 3 guys and fill in his place, and basically we are going to capture the Kamba vote 0.
What you're saying there, then there's this dichotomy we see in our politics, where locally people are willing to vote for someone else,
but nationally.
But at the national level, they will vote for this one particular person.
Non-negotiable.
That is basically how it has been in Ukambani. By the way, look at Kivuda Kibwana. He tried to propagate what you call
Muungano in 2013.
2013.
2017.
How many MCs did he get? He was voted as a governor. He was popular. People wanted him. They accepted him as a governor. But the majority of the MCAs that came in there, 90% I think, were basically Wiper. They looked at Alfred Mutua and said, okay, Alfred, we can have him as our governor. But look at the number of the MCAs who are there. Wiper. They look at Charity Ngulu and told her, yes, with your knack, you know, we will.
We can do something.
We can do something. But look at the MCAs. Wiper. What? So the point I'm trying to tell you is that it's just like the Somalis. You know what I mean? They look at the individual and they say this individual is what you call the Peter's limit. You know what I mean? You call the Peter's limit. They say this guy can make a very good governor for us, but not necessarily a good president for us. You know what I mean?
So we're giving the governor his level. Mheshimiwa, we want to thank you very much for joining us today, for coming to the show. Finally, with just 30 seconds.
Yes.
If Kalonzo is not picked as the running mate,
yes,
do you advise him to walk out of Azimio?
Look, whatever I'm advising myself, whatever I'm advising myself is strictly between ourselves there. And like I told you, politics is the art of possible. It's the art of possible. And a number of politicians will look at their personal survival also in the mix-up. They'll look at their personal, and you get that in every party.
Okay, so
and they say now we're in Azimio.
Walk out or
if
stay.
You go out or walk out or stay, and the rest of it. No, it's the final decision is definitely going to be made by him.
Okay.
But whatever decision he makes,
To support him.
whatever decision he makes, we're going to support him. If he's not picked as a deputy president, running mate in this case, take this to the bank. And take it today to the bank and come for the you know, like I don't bet myself because our faith does not allow betting. Betting is illegal, but then you can take that to the bank. You're looking straight in the eyes of a route to presidency in this country.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa.